Texting is perhaps the most important skill in modern dating. Whether you're on Instagram, Tinder, Snapchat, or even plain old text messaging, knowing how to communicate with and attract beautiful women with your messages is absolutely critical. Without this skill, you might as well be sent straight to the gulag. Texting is an integral part of the early relationship before you go on a date and before you escalate into all the fun stuff that comes with romantic relationships. Yeah, you know what I mean when I say fun stuff. Don't make me say it, okay? And since texting is such an important aspect for men to learn in the modern dating game, I brought some backup with me. I brought the big guns, one of the legends of texting and messaging women in online dating, Alex from the YouTube channel Playing with Fire. And since this intro is getting a bit long and it's not what we do around here, I'm going to let Alex start us off with number one.
So number one on the list, we have over-gaminess. This is extremely rampant in the seduction community and just amongst guys in general. So the best way to explain it is to think of texting like a spectrum. On one end, you have the guys who are super boring and send texts like, hey, how's your day? Hey, how are you? Hey, what's up, right? And I think pretty much everyone watching this video can recognize that's obviously bad game. The problem is a lot of guys go too far in the other direction. They're so worried about being overly boring that they become overly gamey, overly fancy, overly try-hard. And that is a huge turn-off to girls, even more so than being the boring guy. Quite often when a girl sees that you're being overly gamey, not only will she lose attraction, but she may subtly or not so subtly start to even troll you or neg you. So you don't want to be the overly gamey guy.
If I'm being honest, I was guilty of this for a while, and this is something I've actually been removing from my game over the past few months. And it's simplified my text conversation so much and gotten me much better success. The reason I struggled with overgaminess is because I'm naturally a funny and sarcastic guy. But trying to communicate all of it over text can come off as too much and try hard. A lot of guys want to avoid being too boring or dry over text, so they resort to trying to say everything in the most interesting and over-the-top way possible. This often distracts you from getting to the point and setting up a date. Going with a more laid-back and direct approach over text and saving a lot of that quick wit and sarcasm for in-person is typically a lot better since you give her the chance to see it in action when it's a lot more charismatic and attractive. Number two, beating around the bush. I'd say this is probably the biggest problem guys have. I see it all the time. They think they have to go through some ceremony with a shaman and make a blood sacrifice in the whole ritual before asking the girl out on a date. It's like, geez, bro, just ask her out already. They ask the girl questions about stuff they don't care about and act really inauthentic because they feel like they have to. They're just going through the motions. Hey, now here's a bonus tip. If you're bored in the conversation or just asking questions for the sake of it, she's definitely bored too. So avoid this at all costs. Alex is great at being direct and to the point, so I'm sure he has a lot to say here.
So beating around the bush is when you banter and banter to no end. You just keep talking and talking to the girl, but you never move the interaction forward. This is unfortunately very ineffective because eventually the girl gets bored and moves on to the next guy. A key part of good text game is to be able to move the interaction forward because a woman will very rarely ever do it for you. As the guy, you have to be the one that makes things happen. So mistake number three is poor logistics planning / suboptimal closing. So this gets very common. You know, a guy, maybe he's gotten good at bantering, he's gotten good at vibing, and he thinks he has the interaction locked in, right? And then he just gets a little lazy, a little sloppy on the close, and the whole thing just falls out. So this can manifest in many ways. The most common is the guy pushes too hard to meet that night when the girl can't do it, right? Because he's feeling a little frisky, let's just say. Or another way is he just doesn't take her schedule into account when he's proposing the date. So the girl says that, for example, she's only free on weekends. He's like, cool, so let's do Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. It doesn't work. The proper way to set up a date is to follow the steps I'm going to mention. So the first step is the soft close. So this is when you say something like, we should get together sometime soon, right? You're proposing general plans, and this is very easy for the girl to agree to something general. It's much easier to agree to, we should get together sometime soon, than it is to agree, let's get together Friday night at 8 o'clock, right? So the first step is the soft close. Then you want to figure out her logistics and her schedule. So you would say something like, what's your schedule like, right? And then when you figure out her logistics, then you would hard close. So this would be something like, cool, let's do Friday night, say 8 o'clock. And you know, this hard close is based on the information you gathered in the earlier step when you figured out her schedule. And if you follow these three steps, you're going to have way more dates.
Number four, letting the momentum die. Momentum is a huge thing in relationships. Momentum is more important for women than it is for men. It creates emotional engagement and attachment, and since it's such an emotional thing, guys usually overlook it. Men are super logical. If a girl can't hang out one day, they won't follow up with her at all until like a week later. By then, the momentum is dead and she no longer feels any emotions toward you at all. Your chances are done by that point. If you wait too long to hit her up again, she'll forget about you.
And mistake number 5, getting butthurt or needy. So this is when a guy's double, triple texting the girl in a very short time span. Maybe he's sending her texts like, "Wait, where are you? What are you doing?" He starts blowing up her phone and he's calling her nonstop. Or conversely, he gets bitter or angry when she doesn't respond and he sends her angry texts like, "Why are you wasting my time?" or "You're disrespecting me right now," when the girl in reality is just taking a shower and she hasn't even checked her phone. So this is an automatic turnoff to women.
Hey, could not agree more. I feel like it's become more popular nowadays to get triggered by a girl and then tell her off. This never works. A lot of guys in the red pill community think it's their job to police girls when they do something wrong, even if they're not even dating the girl. It's like, bruh, who cares what someone else is doing if you're not dating them? Here's the truth. If a girl does something you don't like, you can bring it up to her maturely, calmly, and even humorously, but never in a butthurt manner. It's just simply unproductive. It makes you look like a bitch and will just put her on the defensive. And once she's on the defensive, the chances of you guys coming to a resolution is slim to none. And that, my friends, is it. Here's a quick recap of everything we covered on screen. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and check out my brand new program, The Based Brotherhood, that just launched. It comes with a trial, so it's free for the first 7 days, but more on that later. Before you do that, make extra sure you go check out Alex's channel, Playing with Fire. He specializes in online dating and text game, and I think you'll find a lot of value in what he has to say.
So as the Greek God said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of good information there on texting, planning dates, and just becoming a better man.
And make sure you guys check out my newest program, The Based Brotherhood. The program is free for the first 7 days, and after that, you can continue for a small price. This is our most affordable program we've ever put out. The program comes with live weekly coaching calls with Benjamin, 4+ hours of content, including infields from Benjamin breaking down how to build high-value attraction and become a top 1% high-value man. And I'm updating the program with new content every single month. So go click the link in the description and try it out for free. Yes, that means you can get on live coaching calls with Benjamin for free in your first 7 days. I'll see you in there. Zeus out.